there's heartbreak, and then there's watching your favorite show end in the worst way possible. Looking at you, Daenerys Targaryen. So to save you from that heartbreak, we're going to look at 12 TV shows that had the most perfect endings. Then if you want to watch something truly satisfying, you'll have a lot of options. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. First up, at number 12 is BoJack Horseman. Most animated shows are aimed at children, so naturally most of them are lighthearted and funny. But that couldn't be further from the truth for BoJack Horseman. It's probably one of the darkest animated cartoons ever, and its ending was also pretty mysterious. It's pretty funny that a show about talking animals is one of the most realistic representations of mental health in the modern world. The show knew there was no fix for mental illnesses like anxiety or depression. Nice while it lasted didn't clear the BoJack of all of his wrongdoings, but it did begin his journey to recovery and redemption by giving him hope, something he's never really had before. Next up, at number 11 is Lost. The ending of Lost was actually a controversial one. It left a lot of plot holes that the show never really addressed. A lot of fans also think Damon Lindelof took the easy way out with his explanation of the island's existence. Now, if you only followed Lost for the story alone, then maybe this was a bit of a letdown, but it gives the characters the perfect ending. While the show wasn't perfect and left a lot of unanswered questions, one thing most people can agree on was that the finale was perfect, especially with the music and the way Vincent was just laying next to Jack as he closed his eyes. Safe to say, the finale left everyone sobbing. Now at number 10 is Breaking Bad. By the end of Breaking Bad, it was obvious that Walter White had completed his 5-season journey from being the hero to the evil. Breaking Bad finishes with Walt probably in the worst spot he could be in, and that's really saying something considering everything that's happened throughout the show. He's forced to rethink what he truly values after being separated from his family, and Vince Gilligan offers him one more task to figure a way out of the situation he's put in, even though Jesse Pinkman also had one last chance to think about all of his mentor's terrible actions in Felina and promise himself to never be that way. At the 9th spot is Friends. Not that many series have had the impact on mainstream culture like Friends did. For 10 seasons, its main cast of 6 regular New Yorkers has been super realistic, likable, and entertaining characters. The finale was probably one of the saddest moments ever, not just for the fans, but even the cast, who'd become actual friends by the end of it. But its ending was probably one of the most perfect things ever. The characters take huge steps in their life and say goodbye to each other. The show ends on the note that not everything lasts forever, and you have to say goodbye at some point. The relatable ending is probably what made the ending so likable to everyone, even though it was super sad. Coming up at number 8 is The Leftovers. Clearly, Damon Lindelof likes to leave things up for debate, because that's exactly what he did in The Watchmen, right after Lost. While Lost secrets and unexplained plot holes split fans up, The Leftovers finale was well received for bringing the series to a realistic finish. Making a time leap is a risky tactic that might easily backfire, yet The Book of Nora kept the show focused on the main relationship of Kevin Garvey and Nora Durst. It didn't dismiss the great cast, but The Leftovers proved once again that nothing is more compelling than two people who actually connect with each other. Now at number 7 is The Good Place. For most of its course, it seemed like it would be impossible for The Good Place to have a good ending because of the whole endless life after death thing. But in its finale, the characters resolved the issue of eternal paradise by adding a proper exit, allowing people to meet their death after they made peace with the real world and done all they've wanted to. Because of this, the ending of The Good Place centers on its characters doing exactly that. It manages to be both sad and hilarious at the same time, which is a pretty big skill. Moving on to number 6 is The Office. Following the popularity of the UK version of The Office, the US remake aired and matched the previous show's high standards. The show's writers had to bring their work to a close with a flawless finish after 9 seasons, although some seasons were better than others. Michael Scott was a big part of the show's popularity, so it's understandable that a lot of fans were upset and missed him in the later seasons of the show. That's also why a lot of people were convinced the ending of this sitcom would suck. But the complete opposite happened when Michael returned for the last couple of episodes. That, along with the sweet memories felt by each Dunder Mifflin employee, made the best ending possible. At number 5 is Band of Brothers. While there are a lot of fictional series with great endings, there are also some based on true events that have also had incredible finales. One of the best examples of this is Band of Brothers. The show was based on Stephen E. Ambrose's book of the same name and followed a group of soldiers fighting in World War II. With each episode presented by real-life troops, the miniseries had a dramatic and sad ending. Even though the show could never compare to the real incident and the intense battles they had to go through, having people who participated in the conflict tell their own truths helped to offer a little taste of what it was actually like. Up next at number 4 is Blackadder. Blackadder is a funny British comedy that covers many time periods, with the idea that each season's Blackadder is a descendant of the prior season. Many people think this show had one of the best endings ever, and it's obvious why. The whole series was filled with hilarious jokes, but the ending accurately conveyed the heartbreak and gut-wrenching loss of World War I. The show balanced the humor and the darkness really well, and they made sure to pause the comedy aspect when the soldiers came to face their inevitable death. This shift in genres is what really gave the show a meaningful ending. Now at number 3 is Fleabag. In Fleabag, Phoebe Waller-Bridge introduced a new twist on a dark comedy by breaching the fourth wall, which is more commonly seen in theatrical performances. This makes sense given that Fleabag originated as a one-woman show. However, using the tool on screen only added to the show's quality. Fleabag's frequent dialogue with the camera appeared to be a safety net for her character when things weren't going well in her life. However, at the season finale, she chose to move away from the camera and audience, maybe in an attempt to start over. It provided a real feeling of hope for the main character, which viewers were happy to see. Coming up at number 2 is Cheers. Cheers became one of the most watched TV shows finale of all time after it ended. The main characters of the show were similar to Friends, but from a completely different era and with just as much humor. Not only was the program successful when it first aired, but there are actually a few other reasons why it has aged so well. The ending was heartwarming and unforgettable, which is why many people regarded Cheers as having the perfect ending. Sam's discovery that the bar was his one true love was a unique idea that overshadowed any unrealistic finale that it could have been instead. Last but not least, at number 1, we have MASH. MASH, based on the feature movie of the same name, is a classic comedy about the Korean War. The show is focused on the people working in the Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. Despite being based on the Korean War, it was more like the Vietnam War. MASH has the greatest ending for various reasons. The protagonists talked about what they were gonna do once the war ended and about living different lives in the episode Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen. While the episode included plenty of laughter, it took a while to build up to an emotional finale. What made the show so good was how the characters changed over the course of the seasons. It wasn't just, and then they parted ways. They're forced to face all the ways the war changed them as people, and most of them did not change for the better. That's a wrap for today's video. Was there any other show with a perfect ending that we might have missed? Make sure to let us know in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button for more videos like this one. We'll see you next time.